My secret to sustainable beekeeping is don't buy queens, don't buy packages from anybody. Breed your own queens. Do not requeen every year. This is the reason why. Let me pause this. I'm sorry. I'm in Michigan. It's October. It's not like the West Coast where it rains every other day. It rains every other day in Michigan this time of year. So I do have bees underneath the roof. That top row there, I just brought them back yesterday. And I know which ones need honey, but I'll go through and I'll lift them. And the ones that need honey, I'm going to give them honey even while it's raining because they're underneath the roof. And what I was doing this morning, previous to this video while it wasn't raining, I was going through my older colonies. See my older colonies out there, the ones that made a lot of honey? Some of them are brand new, early new colonies. They got really large, but some of them, those two over there, are older queens. I use my older queens. I use them to make splits. I pull frames of brood off with eggs, and I let them make a lot of honey during the summer. I do not requeen. I try to get as many workers out of that queen as possible. Don't kill a queen. She has so many fertile eggs in her. Take advantage of it. Get all those workers from her. Don't kill her too early. The reason why is because you can end up with, see this colony here, 109? I just opened this today, found out they had queen cells. I took the remainder of that colony, combined it with another colony. So I took those workers that, if I had killed that queen, oh, there's also frames of brood. If I had killed that queen a couple of months ago, I wouldn't have those frames of brood, maybe some of those workers too. So I took that colony, combined with another. And I also pulled off, a whole medium full of honey off that colony. Right here. It's extremely heavy. I'm getting too old for this. We went from the 80s, the beginning of October, where I couldn't open a hive. Robbers were terrible. If I opened a hive, the robbers would be there within 15 minutes, and it would be all over the hive. And after I closed up the hive, they'd still be there. So we went from 80s to 50s. We didn't have any temperatures in the 60s. Went from 80s and sunshine to 50s and rain. I've had a hard time getting enough time to actually open all of my hives and checking colonies. But today, half the day today was nice enough that I was able to do that. And what I'm doing is, I had like 70 colonies coming out of last winter. And I made every colony I could consider at least 2 new colonies from. I made 150 new colonies. So I have more new colonies than old colonies, and the new colonies that were made after mid-June, they didn't have enough time to make honey, so they need honey. So here I am trying to come up with enough honey. This is why I need the older colonies. I need the honey that they make. This is why I'm not selling honey, because I keep adding to the number of my colonies. I currently have 197. Look how many frames of honey I have here. And there's videos on YouTube about people processing 75 pounds or 90 pounds of honey, and then they get millions of views. I don't understand what is the big deal. I'm not selling honey. I'm not extracting any honey. Why? Because see all those colonies out there? I made 150 new colonies. I probably don't have 150 new colonies now because I've lost some of the queens. Actually, I killed one queen a week ago because she wasn't doing what she was supposed to. She wasn't good quality. So maybe there's like 140 new colonies that I made this summer that I got to make sure not all of them need honey, but some of them do. 25% of them need honey. And that right there, I can get through a couple months feeding 2 or 3 colonies. And there's more honey here. See? More honey there. Hey, and I don't feed syrup anymore. Years ago, Domino cane sugar used to be around $5 for a 10-pound bag. It's now $8.36. I wouldn't feed my bees anything other than Domino cane sugar. I don't feed them cheap syrup. I give them the best or I give them nothing at all. So I've decided to give them nothing at all because I could no longer afford the price of domino cane sugar. So I'm sustainable. I don't buy queens. And I didn't feed them last winter. I'm not going to feed them this winter. And the pollen substitute, it really depends on the weather, what the weather does. If we have a warm spring, and the trees provide enough pollen, and I don't need to feed my bees substitute pollen, because they bring in pollen during the fall, and if they seem to have enough, see, right here. This is a good frame to start a colony on. There's a little bit of pollen, a little bit of honey, a little bit of nectar there. There's more in here, but here's a good one. This is a good frame to start a colony. You need to go through in the spring, go through your colonies, make sure they have some pollen, make sure they have honey. Here's another one, see? This is my biggest problem. I don't have enough storage area. I have a 10 by 20 shed. When I started beekeeping, this is the shed that I had. And I pack stuff in here. If I want to get to the stuff and back, I have to move things. And I'm currently working on getting more room, because I always figured, well, if I couldn't keep bees alive, I wouldn't worry about it. I'd just give up beekeeping. But I've been so successful at beekeeping, I managed to almost double every single year. So I currently have 197 colonies, and managing everything that you're pulling off of them during the fall. Colonies that die, well, they don't really die. The queen dies, and if you catch it in time, you take those bees, combine them with another, so you end up with a hive like 109. So I got 2 deeps here that need to find a place. Oh, I could leave them outside in the weather, but then they wouldn't last as long. So you try to put them in a dry place, and if it's warm, you're going to get wax moths in there, but it's going to cool off here pretty soon. I'm not worried about wax moths anymore. So let me pause this. One of the reasons why I don't feed SERP anymore, 2 years ago, I spent over $1,000. Me and the wife spent over $1,000 on domino cane sugar. Went all the way around the state of Michigan to all the Walmarts, got all the 10-pound bags of domino cane sugar, and I had heavy losses that winter because winter was long. My bees don't live 5 to 6 months through winter because of the toxic chemicals the crop farmers put in the environment that my bees pick up. It's in their hives. I keep trying to tell you guys, the toxic chemicals are killing your honeybees. It's not the Varroa mites. This is the best investment I've ever made. I got this off of eBay. It was actually cleaner when I bought it. It was like brand new, $300. And most of my colonies, all of my colonies have 4 treatments. Some of them have 5 when I was using the Varroa vaporizer. But I just couldn't keep up with them with one Varroa vaporizer. So went on eBay, got a deal. $300 is the best investment I ever made. This is repairable. It's a pipe heater. If that burns out, you just put another one on there. All these parts here are available. A Varroa vaporizer, I'll show you. Pause. Okay, a Varroa vaporizer. I bought 2 of them. The second one I got on eBay. I got it real cheap. Came from Man Lake. Got it around $120. But the first one I bought $160. It's basically a heating element. When it burns out, it's junk. And I had 2 of them for 2 years in a row. And last fall, towards the end of the treating season, one burned out and only have 1 left. And not repairable. Okay, so I would not invest $160 in another one of these. Not ever again. When you gotta wait 3 minutes. This right here. 20, 25 seconds, 30 seconds. It depends on how cold it is outside and how quickly you can get it from one hive to another without letting it cool down. This is a good investment. I could do 25, 30 hives an hour. So basically for 4 hours early in the morning before noon, I was doing 100 colonies. I had 200 colonies at the time. I was doing them 2 days in a row. So I couldn't do that with a Varroa vaporizer. Okay, pause again. Oh, and I just got to mention, for somebody that's tried Formic Pro, formic acid, that spent $5 per colony and had 10% of my queens killed, and the second time I used the Formic Pro, it didn't kill any Varroa mites, it just killed my queens. A total waste of money. Acetic acid, Walmart.com, $35 a 10-pound bag. And this will last, I could treat 200 colonies with this. probably 3 times. It lasts a long time, very, very cheap, very effective, but like everybody says, it doesn't kill Varroa mites in the cat brood, so you got to do it several times during the season. And I'm currently waiting. They've had 4 to 5 treatments. I'm currently waiting for it to cool off and to make sure my colonies are done with brood. And I'm going to go through towards the end of December and go through, treat them again, because I know they still have Varroa mites. So if they still have cat brood, they still have Varroa mites. And until you get rid of all the cat brood and treat with no cat brood, you'll still have Varroa mites, okay? Pause. And when I decided to make a video, and I don't have much time to do this, especially uploading takes a long time. It wasn't raining, it was just cloudy. I thought, well, I'll go ahead and I will make a video. See, I don't have, the other thing is, I've been building stuff, hive parts, as much as I can. And you get towards the end when you don't have need for very many more, and you're wondering how many colonies you're gonna lose to, you'll end up getting some parts, so you won't have to build them. See this colony here? This is an old colony. They don't fill the hive anymore. I haven't been in this colony probably since June. Here it is October. And they may not even have a queen. Okay, we're down to the top medium. What I'll do is, see, they're underneath my trees here. They're not getting wet. It's not raining that hard. It takes 2 hours or so for, once it starts raining, for the water to actually get through the trees. I may have enough time to check this for a queen and see how the queen is. What I'm gonna do is, because I have so many new queens, if I see this queen she's old and she has tattered wings, I already know she's an old queen, but sometimes what happens is you have a number that's got an old queen, you think that's an old queen. They may have gotten a virgin queen that got mated and replaced her, and you not know about it. So I won't kill a queen until I look at the queen and verify, yeah, her wings are tattered, her wings are worn out, she's not going to make it through winter. Then I will kill her, and the next day I'll take one of my smallest colonies of the new queen that looks good, looks like she's going to be a good laying queen next season, and I will combine it. So, and what I've noticed is a lot of these colonies here, you give them a lot of deeps and they won't even do anything or you give them a lot of mediums. Give them a lot of mediums to make honey and they won't do anything in the deeps. And I bet you there's nothing in the deeps of this colony here. Well, I guess this one isn't bad, but I've come across several. You take the mediums off and you get to the last medium, and well, see, I hate that. They're just so stupid. Get the hell out of the way. I don't really want to kill you. God. And then they go around in circles. When you get up here, they go around in circles, you know, or up here when you're trying to put the shim back on. They're going around in circles. I can't figure out where the hell to go. And you don't have all day to wait for that bee to get the hell out of the way. It is just so frustrating. Sometimes when you smoke them, they just make them more squirrely. So this is a good colony here. I just got to look for the queen. Let's check this one here. Look at this, a one-armed beekeeper. Vinyl Farm, can you do this? Hold the camera. I don't have a tripod for camera. I don't invest a lot of money in shit like that. Oh man, that's heavy. There's a lot of honey there. And these are this foundationless frames, but the ones next to it have a lot of honey. And let's see what. If you guys are watching people like Vinyl Farm, will tell you that you need to have a different type of hive to be successful. This is a Langstroth hive. Those guys are just full of shit. I've seen a lot of, well, I don't watch Vinyl Farm's videos, but I've seen his titles. Like he suggested super insulating a hive and closing up the upper entrances, and it helps get them through winter. That's bullshit, because what you're doing is all the toxic chemicals in your hive, they're not getting enough fresh air into the hive. All they're doing is they're being killed by the toxic chemicals. This one's full too, except for the wireless frame. I stuck wireless frames on the outside to to get through summer. Are they in the deep? Yeah, they're down there. They may these guys may not be down in the bottom deep, but they filled 3 mediums. And what I'm going to do is, this is the issue. This is why I number my hives. Hey, I found a queen clear in the top of a hive this morning, up in the medium. 3 mediums, and she was at the very top. If I were to put a bunch of mediums side by side from 2 different hives and not know which is which, like I know this one right here came off of, I don't number my mediums, but I do number the deeps in case I had a bunch of deeps pulled up. If you pull 2 hives apart at the same time and you put a medium on another hive, it doesn't belong there, and that queen's in there, guess what? She's dead. So this one here, I got to remember this now. This one goes to this one, and that one, 3. This one goes to that one. Okay, so I'm done making this video. I just wanted to show you sustainable beekeeping. I don't buy queens, I don't buy packages, and I don't buy sugar anymore for making syrup. I do buy, let me show you. All right, I do buy domino cane sugar for during the winter, and I have a video on my channel showing how I make this. You make a batch of syrup, and then you take a little bit of that batch, bring it up to a temperature of softball, or you get to, like making candy, and then when it reaches softball, 220 degrees or something like that, I can't remember exactly, then you start adding sugar from the bag until it's like porridge. And as soon as it's like porridge, you stop, take it off the heat, and you pour it onto a counter or something that can handle the hot sugar and cool off. And before it cools off, you score it with a knife before it cools off, and you take out strips. And see, this is important to have a shim in here. I can check the size of the colony. That one's stuck. I can check the size of the colony. If they don't have any sugar, I give them more sugar during the winter. Oh, that poor bee. Stuff like that happens. So if I ran out of shims, and I don't have enough bottom boards, so I stuck in some OSB, and I don't have enough outer covers, so I've got colonies here that still need outer covers, and these shims right here came off of colonies that lost their queens. But what I'm saying is, I don't have enough time in the day to keep up with my bees. I got to spend time keeping them alive. If I were to spend time making stuff, I wouldn't have any honeybee colonies for the stuff that I make. So what I'm thinking is, don't worry about the hive covers, the shims. Well, I'm probably going to need shims because I've got like 100 colonies that don't have shims. As my colonies lose their queens, and I start combining them with other colonies, I'll have some parts, but obviously I need to make shims because look, these are the ones that need honey, and you don't just give them honey, you make sure they have sugar. Right now they have sugar on the inner cover, like most of you guys are doing that, but I like to keep my queen down here. I don't really want her up here, and sometimes it doesn't matter what you do, the queen ends up here, and that's where she lays until she gets forced down to the deep. Okay, thank you.